Hello everybody, this is number 49 of my series of live stream tours through Paris, designed to bring you on the streets in real time vicariously. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a fun one. As you can see, it's going to be a very pink episode. And so the idea of this series, if you're new to it, is if you can't bring yourself to Paris, I'm going to bring it to you, gosh darn it, every single time I can. Hello, James Jackson, my friend. It's the first name that I see coming up live. And otherwise, I guess you can hear me on the replay right now, and I appreciate that. I decided to start us up nice and close. It's the Blossoms bike ride is what I'm calling this one, episode number 49. And I'm in the Marais. Hello everybody. See all those bonjours and those hellos. And people are looking at me wondering what I'm doing. As usual. What a fun episode we've got planned, or I've got planned here. And a fun chat afterward. Definitely stay tuned for the chat. Special guest that I'll talk about in a moment. So every late March, early April, it's time for the blossoms, the cherry blossoms. And so let me show you where we are here. We're in the Marais. Hello, everybody. I can see all those bonjours. I appreciate it. We're right next to the Saint-Paul metro station, the number 1 line. That's the famous carousel that's here just about every day. And these are some of my favorite cherry blossoms. But today, it's not just a walking tour, it's a biking tour. And so I'm going to use my trusty electric bike that I take around with me a lot of days, and it'll help us get around to all these different areas rather. Let me try to, speaking of the bike, we won't get on it yet, but I want to just give you a different perspective here. Hi everybody. Everyone's saying be safe on the bike. I know I've got some mama bears out there who really want to take care of me and make sure I'm okay. And I appreciate that. But don't worry, I've got a lot of experience on biking through Paris. I do it all the time. So I'm really looking forward to it. Again, St. Paul metro station is where we're at in the Marais, the 4th arrondissement. And this is what, oh my goodness. You're going to hear, again, a lot of involuntary sounds coming out of my mouth today with these compositions. Hi, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, Randy. Just one last look around here, and then we'll move on to the next spot. It's going to be a bit of a quick fire round of cherry blossoms because we're going to cover some ground today on my bike. Boy, a Parisian street lamp helps any composition, I'll tell you that. It's such a great time to be in Paris. We're about at the peak of the cherry blossoms, maybe a little bit, just a few days past the peak, but they're still spectacular, and I'm going to take you to some of my favorites in central Paris. So let's get on the road here. The problem with this composition is that HEMA sign, the EMA, right there. You always have to kind of block that out, but otherwise, magic! Oh, look at that, folks. Look at that. I've got a song in my heart today, and I might just end up singing to all of you. All right. Here we go. We're on the move, folks. Through the Marais. Biking through the Marais could be worse, right? So it's primarily a cherry blossoms tour, but the reason I did not call it a cherry blossoms tour is there's something else here. Look. It's the beginning of wisteria season. So I'm going to try to hop off and give you a closer look at that. Let's get a little bit closer here. Get my bike in order, sorry. Got cables and bikes and stuff, all kinds of things going on here. Look at that. Oh, man. So from what I can tell, I'm not a gardener or an expert by any means, but there are a few main stages in Paris. There's the Magnolia stage, and those are on their way out now. And then that's replaced by the Cherry Blossom stage, which makes way for the Lilac and Wisteria stage. So hopefully you can get those colors there. Hello, everybody. I can see you filtering in there live. I really appreciate it. So that's the wisteria. Now, there's one restaurant in particular near Notre Dame that has amazing wisteria hanging on the facade. I know some of you are familiar with that restaurant if you're familiar with Paris. And so I'm going to take us by there. It's not fully in bloom there at the restaurant, but boy, it's worth a look. So there we go. cherry blossoms, wisteria, and we'll see some flowers and all kinds of good stuff. Oops, sorry. I'm not used to having so many little handles and such to grab onto my cable, so my mic cable. Here we go. Paris is the perfect walking city, but I gotta say, really, the pace of a bicycle, I think, is where it's at. I don't think you can really beat it. Not too fast, not too slow. Coming up on the Hôtel de Sens, which is this beauty here. Can make that out. It's worth a quick pit stop just to take a look. There we go. That garden's in bloom this time of year. Sue and Hum's excited for where we're headed to see the wisteria, that's for sure. Let me get you up above this pesky fence and the grill here. There we go. Hôtel de Sens, back garden, always worth it. And on the front side this time of year, it's all about the cherry blossoms. So back on my trusty steed. Here we go. This girl and I have had some good times. Look at that. Oh, I love coming down the street. What? There you go. You can see some pink clouds there in the distance. That's where we're headed. Oh, gorgeous. I've got a song in my heart today. So let's go ahead and stop here. I was hoping for some sun today. So far we haven't got it, but I'm going to stay hopeful. So we're in front of the Hôtel de Sens, 4th arrondissement. It's tucked away behind the trees there. And we just got a forest of cherry blossom trees. Let's get a little bit closer to this one. Like big fluffy clouds of cotton candy. I want to take you around this way. Now I am a full-time tour guide for anyone who's joining for the first time, so I can never help myself and never stop myself from pointing out a few little factoids. This is one that all the tour guides that come through Hôtel de Sens, I've never seen any of them take a group over here under these trees to show them this specifically. What you're looking at there are not your typical cobblestones, they're wooden. And wooden cobblestones were a thing in Paris starting in 1880. It wasn't the first city to try them out, but in the late 19th century, a lot of horse traffic around, and they found that the wooden cobblestones were extremely quiet. And you can imagine the racket in the 1800s with all of those carriages and the horse hooves. And so they tried this out in about many acres of Paris. In fact, not all of it, but some streets were paved with asphalt or cobblestones, and then some of them with wood. There were problems, though. There was a disadvantage here with the wooden stones, and that's why they're no longer here, too, actually. In the wintertime, when they got frozen and there'd be frost heaves and stuff, look, sometimes they can get dug up pretty easily. And they also got very slick, too slippery for the horses. So you'd have horses on these hills slipping all around, and there'd be accidents and stuff. And then also, there was a problem with rot, of course, and the wood getting sort of infected and nasty and absorbing all the nastiness. But anyway, a very rare, I'm showing you this because it's extremely rare to find wooden cobblestones, and these probably aren't original, of course, from the 1800s, but keep that in mind in front of Hotel de Sens. It's something that nobody ever notices. And now back to the blossoms. Whew, that's a view. Come on, son, you can do it, son. David Dubois, how you doing, buddy? I see your comment saying he remembers the Blossoms tour last year. Yeah, so a year ago I did a Cherry Blossoms tour. Back when I was very green, a brand new live stream vlogger. I'd like to think that I learned a few tricks and got slightly better since then. But you never know. I take the good with the bad as far as these episodes go. But I can tell you a year later, I'm still in love with these blossoms. And a year later, I'm still in love with sharing Paris with all of you. Hi, Mimi from Central California. Coast, that is. We can see the Hotel de Sens there. Let's make our way through. These are the quiet blossoms, by the way. This is the part that a lot of people aren't going to. And when we get to Notre Dame, you'll see it's a different story. Everybody knows about those. Sorry, excuse me. Hotel de Sens. We could talk about that building, but it's not really the episode for that. Again, I can't be held responsible for my involuntary noises today. Let's go. All right, let's go. Goodbye to the Hotel de Sens. 15th and 16th century architecture. A bibliothèque today. Arts and Design Library. And here we go. I think we're in the midst of a bike tour. Pardon, excusez-moi. Pardon. There we go. One last look back that way. And here we go. Give you the first person point of view. My new shoes that I'm proud of. Like these brown shoes. Pretty into that. And let's go. We can speed up a little bit because we're on a bike lane. Biking through Paris. Biking through Paris. With 247 friends. Next stop, Hotel de Ville. Notre Dame view, bell towers. And then this church here. Saint-Gervais. You're going to see behind the trees there. Little glimpse of Saint-Gervais. And on to Hotel de Ville, which has got some good bloomage. Hey, Vivian Barnett says this is fun. I'm glad you think so, Vivian. Sunday's actually a very good day for biking. A lot of the streets are closed off in the center of town for cyclists and pedestrians. There's not as much traffic, of course, as usual. And here comes the Hotel de Ville. And there's a cute little park tucked away there. If you remember 1 year ago, and bonus points to those of you who were with me on the Cherry Blossoms tour a year ago. You'll remember there's a little park here. Some rabbits and chickens most times of the year, but also some blooms. It's closed on this side, but open on the other. So you can see a bit of the cherry blossom tree there. And then the green trees next to it were magnolia. But the magnolia is gone. The magnolia has disappeared, and they're just green trees now. Couple of magnolia leaves still around. I mean, blossoms, I mean. Here we go. Inside the veil, and we make the turn. Here we go. Here's the name of it. I explained this to you 1 year ago, but long story short, the liberation of Paris from the Nazis in 1944, when the Allies finally came down from Normandy and whatnot to save the city, the very first folks to come in were called the Nueve, and they were Spanish troops, primarily Spanish troops. So that is what this is named after. The guys who officially started the liberation of Paris, even though the Americans and the Brits get a lot of credit for that. I have strapped you to the handlebars of my bike just because I got to get you through here, this narrow little doorway. There we go. And let me detach you. Got a whole system going here. Hold on. Oh, it smells great right off the bat. So to the left we've got Hôtel de Ville, the city hall. In fact, the mayor, I've been inside here before, and literally the mayor, because this is where she works, her office is right there, and she's got the view over this little park toward Notre Dame and whatnot, as she should, I guess, as mayor of Paris. That's Etienne Marcel. He's considered the first mayor that we ever had here in the 14th century. And let's get a little bit closer. I just got a message, by the way, from my Café Chat guest. Now, usually we do a Café Chat, and usually it's private. Today, two things are different. It's going to be a picnic chat, and it's not going to be private. It's going to happen around 5 p.m. Eastern Time when I finish this video, essentially. And it's going to be with French Girl in Seattle Takes France. If you're familiar with her, her name's Vero, and she's a long-time blogger and content maker and specialist on French culture, American differences, and French language and all of that. She's a Frenchie, and she moved back to Paris after spending all that time in Seattle. So French Girl in Seattle Takes France is her name, her brand. And we are going to have a fun chat, and all of you can come and watch it in a nearby park here among the blooms. So check that out. Let's see how I can get a little bit closer to this. Try to work some one-hand magic. One-hand magic. While maintaining some semblance of camera work. There we go. We did it. I love this perspective. Look at that. Oh, sorry, Elizabeth Diamond, I said the wrong thing. It's 5 p.m. my time. Thanks for reminding me. It's going to be 11 a.m. Eastern, so sorry about that. These darn time zones. Why can't the whole world just be one time zone? Yeah, 5 p.m. in Paris, but 11 a.m. Eastern for all of you. I'm so glad you all caught that. Hey, hello from Michik sister number 2. That's fantastic. Peggy Michik is one of the great followers of mine and fans of this project. So here we go. Look at the wisteria. Hôtel de Ville. And there's a cherry blossom tree around here. It's worth a look. So yeah, I say it's going to be a picnic chat with Vero from French Girl in Seattle Takes France, because she is bringing a spread of wine and cheese and fruit and all sorts of fun stuff. And we are going to live it up. Let me try to figure out how to get out of this little park. These little doors here. Let's see. Okay, that's how we'll do it. There we go. Yeah, Vero's watching, by the way. French Girl in Seattle Takes France. So say hello to her if you like here in the comments. And stay tuned because we're going to have a fun chat. Vero actually just got hired as part of Rick Steves' team. And she's going to start touring around France. And showing people all the beautiful parts of this country. She's going to be perfect for that job. And we're going to talk about that. And I'm very hungry and very thirsty for red wine. So this should be a good time. We're going to park ourselves under one of the cherry blossoms. One of the trees, rather. Look at this. My goodness. Okay, onward. We got a lot to see. As usual. I'm dragging my butt. I need to get moving. We haven't even gotten to Notre Dame yet. Oh. Here we go. Sorry for the bumpiness. I got to get us through the doorway here. Very narrow. Okay. On the move again. Linda Gass says, chickens in the middle of Paris? Yeah, I didn't have time to show you in that park. But a year ago when I did the Blossoms tour, I showed some of the animals there. Trust me, they're there. I don't know what happens to those chickens. They might end up as a coq au vin. I don't know. All right, here we go. Virginia Robinson says, the musicians. That is true. Look at these beautiful trees and this view. Oh my goodness. Watch out, pigeons. All right, here we go. Rue Chanoines. I'm going to dedicate this stop to Sue Ann Hum, who's a great follower and Frye Patreon supporter, because she loves this restaurant and has very close ties to this restaurant called Au Vieux Paris d'Arcole. Show you the sign. Some claim this is the oldest restaurant in Paris. The building itself is from 1512, and there was a restaurant and an inn starting in 1594. And it's famous for its wisteria that's just coming in, so it's not quite in full bloom, but how stunning is this? Because you can come starting here in early mid-April, and these are all tables underneath. Coffee, wine. It's like living inside of Instagram. Okay, let me show you one other view from here. Sorry. It'd be fun to live up there and have one of those windows near the wisteria that's coming into your living room. So again, a lot of you already know this address, but if you don't, put it on in your Paris notebook, Au Vieux Paris, on the Rue Chanoinesse. Something like that. All right, so let's see. Let's go around this way. A year ago when I did the Cherry Blossoms tour, this is the street where I caught a pedicab, and he drove us around and was playing Edith Piaf on his radio. So it's kind of coming around full circle for all of us. This time, no pedicab, I've got my own transportation. Almost. All right, Square Notre Dame. Pardon, excuse me. Pardon, merci. I know it's not a cathedral tour, but all right, the south side of this building is where you want to be today. I think I see my opening. Pardon, excusez-moi. Pardon, excusez-moi. I see my opening. Thank you.
No problem.
Sorry if I'm not quite on top of the comments today, guys. I think you can understand why. And we're going to break a little bit of a rule here and bike through this section that we're not supposed to. I bend the rules so you don't have to. Look at this. All right. This is where it gets real good. That's why I love this project. I love being a part of it because I can bring you all, wherever you are in the world, I can bring you right to this spot right now at this moment for this view. And I don't know if that sounded corny, but it feels right in my heart.
I'll try again, or I'll see.
I want to try to get you underneath here. Look at this. Wow. So there's a second Michik sister watching, and her sister Peggy usually takes screenshots of these videos. So I'm wondering if sister number 2 is going to take any screenshots. Is this kind of like a family thing, or? Because my goodness, you're going to have some today. Wow, I could stay here all day. If I didn't have the lovely French girl in Seattle Takes France waiting for me. Thanks everyone, I can see in your comments that it didn't sound too corny what I just said. Appreciate that. It's okay. How about an up-close look? That's called the Blossom Cuddle, by the way. I invented that. It's a good time to be in Paris, right? Wow. That's our transportation today, by the way. Speaking of which, sorry. Here. This is one of the obligatory views. Wow. I mean, as if Paris wasn't beautiful enough, right? We're already spoiled for choice here. And then this comes along. You can do better than that, Corey. There we go. All right, we've got more to see. Let me take us, though, around the other side. I'm trying to count how many trees there are here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there are 6 trees here. Doing their thing. What's hilarious here? Did you notice yet that in the center there's a sandbox of all things? Life is good as a Parisian kid. So if you can get here in the next week, 10 days, you're going to see all this here. It's going to be stunning. Well, there's a view. Well, there's a view. You know what, before I forget, using that view, something like that, I've got an important shout out to Matthew. Hello, Matthew Morris. How are you doing, buddy? Matthew watches with his mom, Tana, and he really, really loves watching my videos, and he told me, because he took a tour with me the other day, he's in Paris right now, he told me, hi Matthew, that he likes to be in his brother Joel's bed, and they watch it together, he and his brother Joel. So this time you're not watching it in Joel's bed, Matthew, you're watching it in Paris, I think, because you're here right now, and I just took a tour with you a few days ago, and it was great to meet you, and I just wanted to say hello, Matthew. I'm thinking of you, buddy, and I hope you like this video, and I'll see you hopefully for another tour in the coming days. So, little shout out to you. Bye. All right. I mean, what can I say? I can't say anything to improve upon this. Okay, folks. I'm obviously biased, but I don't think there's a better place in the world to be right now on a day like this, at this time of the year. Okay, we're going to break the rule again. I shouldn't say we, I'm I'm making you all guilty by association. I'm going to break the no rolling rule. Because as usual, we're on a quest, aren't we? I've never seen a hero in a movie that was on a quest follow all the rules, frankly. Excuse me, can you hold this open? Thank you, that's very nice. Merci beaucoup. Curb there. La da la da na na. Do 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 do. Da na 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 na. That's the prefecture, police HQ. We just crossed the Seine, by the way, if you didn't know. And we're headed over to Shakespeare & Co., Shakespeare & Company bookstore. So there's a little bit going on here. Oh, bike just fell. Pick that up. A little bit over that way. It's a bit backlit for you, but the Notre Dame view. The real fun is when you go down this street, though. That. Bonjour. That hostess was trying to get me to sit down at the restaurant for a meal. Fat chance of that, lady. Not when I've got this equipment in my hand, biking past live streaming. You know what? Let me put my bike here and give you a proper look. There we go. Peggy Michik, I just saw your comment. That's funny. She said you should sing on all your tours because that's what got you here. If you don't know my story, I was a street musician in New York and a French girl found me and we ended up getting married and that's how I ended up in Paris. Pretty crazy story. It's iconic Wallace fountains, drinking fountains there. Little green with your pink. There's a little one here with an invader cactus, our street artist. All right, onward. Back on my steed. This little garden there. That's the oldest tree in Paris from 1602. That's part of my Latin Quarter tour. I'm a full-time tour guide, if some of you don't know. And also there are some hidden World War II bullet holes right where I am right now, but I'm not going to tell you because you're going to have to take my tour of the Latin Quarter to find out where those secret bullet holes are that nobody knows about. Another thing all the other tour guides walk past. This is the back of the church of Saint-Julien-le-Pauvre. And this is gated off so we can't get any closer, but I just wanted to show you this little spot. Right in the dead center of town, you've got this little slice of country village. A church there. Saint-Julien, but we're not here for the church. It's not a church tour, Corey. I love this. They salvaged from years ago an old well. Can you make out the pulley there, the wooden pulley at the top? And then I like this perspective here. Ah, boy. I talked about where else would you rather be. I mean, if I couldn't be next to Notre Dame, put me here. That's Saint-Julien. So I've been showing you areas that are on the beaten path that people tend to find and people tend to know about. But let me take you to a set of cherry blossoms that are lesser known. Flowers. Here we go. We're in the Latin Quarter now. Pick up a little speed here. So I feel like I should give the Patreon spiel. I have a lovely community of folks who want to support this project and help it survive and thrive and evolve. And on patreon.com, there's a link that you can click in the description of this video. And you can support me with a monthly pledge and support this project. And it'll ensure that I can keep focused on it. And if you pledge and support the project, you get rewards. I'll give you stuff in return, like exclusive content, and you'll be part of our great Frye community and a couple of private Facebook groups with a lot of great information about Paris being exchanged. So check that out on Patreon if you're interested in becoming a member of this amazing community. And I'm not just saying that, by the way. If you meet them, you'll know they are amazing. Look at this architecture. And there's another church, but it's not a church tour, Corey. It's not a church tour. It's about those. Here's our next stop. Before we go in this park, I want to pull this move. Because this is the view that you want to have right there. Woo, doggy. Oh, what? Say what? We go into the park. This is called the Square Paul Langevin. Paul Langevin. What a great little hideaway. I'll take you around here. So again, just to change it up a little bit from the cherry blossoms. Let me show you. In fact, let's get a little bit closer here. Because these things are gorgeous. This is called the flower cuddle, by the way. Stunning. At my back, by the way, at what would be the western end of this park, there are public bathrooms. And I know, and if you've come through Paris at all, you know that public toilets are worth their weight in gold. So if you're ever in this area, the Square Paul Langevin, let's go check out these blossoms. I've actually got some historical tidbits that are hiding in this park. 3 different vestiges of the Paris of old. We'll point those out for historical interest. Still waiting on the sun. I think it's going to come out for our picnic chat. Okay, so our first point of interest is right here. Again, it's not a history tour today, but the tour guide inside me can't help himself. This is called the Fontaine Childebert. Childebert was one of the very early Merovingian kings of France, or at least the Paris region. And so it used to be on Saint-Germain-des-Prés church. Remember a few episodes ago I did the inside of Saint-Germain-des-Prés that had been newly restored. And I talked about the link between Saint-Germain and Childebert, that early medieval king. So this used to be against the church. Mr. Baron Haussmann bulldozed away the part of the church to build the Boulevard Saint-Germain. And so they relocated this, which is nice, rather than have it get destroyed. The water's very brown, I don't know why. And look at this, by the way. Eau non potable, non-drinkable water. And then you look down and you're like, yeah, no shiz, Sherlock. Okay, there's that. God, the pink, that color pink. No filter needed on the photos. Another building that got affected in the previous story of Paris was the Hôtel de Ville, the city hall. Remember, we just saw the city hall earlier with where the chickens are. And it was destroyed by the Commune, the uprising in 1870-71. And they salvaged these little pieces. This is from the Renaissance, 16th century. Original Hôtel de Ville, gorgeous. There would have been statues in these 2 niches, by the way. But you know that student protest, the student demonstrations of May 1968 in the Latin Quarter were rather destructive, and there was some rioting and whatnot. And so the students grabbed the statues, tore them down, beheaded the statues, etc. But that's a nice little leftover from Hôtel de Ville. And by the same token, in 1889, the World's Fair, the World Expo, the same expo that the Eiffel Tower was built for, they had something called the Palais des Beaux-Arts, the Palace of the Fine Arts. And it was an exhibition space on the Champ de Mars near the Eiffel Tower. And that's what this was salvaged from. It's painted ceramics. So they just stuck it against the wall here. Again, 1889 World Expo, the Palais des Beaux-Arts. Must have been a stunning, if this is just a tiny little piece that was saved, the building itself must have been splendid. I think splendid is a word I want to use more often. I'm sick of beautiful and amazing and stunning and gorgeous. I think I'm going to slip splendid in there a little more often. They were also on that same building during the World's Fair. Let me get on this side. On the building there were these medallions in honor of different artists, and that is for the great painter Ingres. Ingres was one of my favorite portraitists. He was amazing. And then one last look at the blossoms. So again, if you're a Parisian kid, by the way, if you're not playing in the sandbox next to Notre Dame, then you just come to this park and hang out at the playground. It's insane. This is a view I don't want you to miss. By the way, this building here is the École Polytechnique. It's the Polytechnic of Central Paris. What do you say? I think the blossoms are better against that architecture. I can see the live viewership ticking up and up and up, so I really appreciate that, folks. It means that you're sticking around, and you definitely want to stick around for the chat, the picnic chat, at an undisclosed location that we should probably head to now, actually. Let me go ahead and, I gotta check the time. Poor Vero, I don't want her, okay. Time to go. Time to go see Vero. And one last beautiful example, which we're gonna head toward right now.
Allez, on y va.
Merci, c'est gentil. I'm gonna take you to a park. We're gonna finish up at the Jardin des Plantes, and that is where the largest cherry blossom tree that I'm aware of is in full bloom. And that thing is spectacular. So that is where we're going to have our little picnic chat with wine and cheese as a separate broadcast to this main page. Usually my chats are private, but today is going to be public. So all of you can enjoy French Girl in Seattle Takes France. Look at this real quick. I wasn't lying about the name. Paul Langevin, 1868. Let's go. Looking both ways, green man, we're good. Twins in a stroller. Crop out that high rise. I make myself laugh at least. Check out this building on the left here. There are some plaques that we won't stop for. But a guy called Louis Frye was blind, became blind when he was very young. And this was a school for the blind in this address. And he invented Braille because his last name in French, we say Braille, but in English, we call him Braille. And he invented it right in that building as a young blind student. Imagine that. I read something like he was 15 years old when he figured out the system of Braille. Amazing. All right, here we go. Use those quads, Co. I don't want to speak too soon, but it seems that the bike tour is working out pretty well. Again, sorry if I'm a bit stingy reading the comments, folks. I think you understand why. We're not far from the Paris Mosque where I did one of my episodes. And there's the Jardin des Plantes on the left side. And we're going to wrap around to where the cherry blossoms are and where the wine and cheese are, the most important thing. On the docket today, those goodies that Vero's bringing me. That's the mosque on the right. Had a cafe chat with Anna Tinsman. Amazing supporter and friend. Anna Tinsman comes to Paris just about every year. Vero, if you can hear me, I'm coming. I've got a date with a French girl, and it's not just any French girl. Here we are. Welcome to the Jardin des Plantes, and a few cobblestones for good measure. And we're not supposed to ride our bike here, but I'll do it until somebody stops me. Very safely, of course, respectfully. And look at this beauty that's going to emerge on the left-hand side. Woo! Amazing. Let's get closer, shall we? By the way, before we even get there, look at this beauty. Sorry, I almost fell off. Look at this gorgeous thing. Oh! Let's get closer to this. This one smells really good too. The cherry blossoms don't smell that much, but this one, ooh. So again, we're in the Jardin des Plantes from the 1600s, created for the king at the time. Let me park my bike just a second and try to get a nice. I see the word prunus, cerisier d'ornement. It's another type of cherry tree, like maybe a white cherry tree. Try to get you inside. Wow, it's like being in a cloud. Another cheesy comment. What's up with the cheesy comments today? It's like being in a cloud. But it is, what can I say? And then look at the size of this thing. I'm glad there are people here so you can see the scale. Wow. And I'm sure we're going to run into Vero any minute, who has prepared our picnic chat. Let me park this sucker here for a sec, because I got to show you. It's not just the blooming trees. That's stunning. We're going to have our picnic near there, our chat. But look at this. The Jardin des Plantes right now is... I said that half French, half English. The Jardin des Plantes is how you would pronounce that. Look at that. Almost feels like a private royal residence. C'est bon. Allez-y. Wow. Boy, the live viewers keep ticking up and up. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye to each other. But I'm so glad that you're all enjoying this, and I'm glad that you stuck around for it. Let's get a little bit closer to that last cherry blossom tree. This is not the only one in the park, but it's the biggest. Looking back this way towards the river, I don't know if you can make out a couple other beautiful blossom trees too. But this one, oh my goodness. What? You can really get underneath this one too. Oh man. Kind lady, if you wouldn't mind, No, we'll have to come back to that view. Kind lady. Look at this. I got my mic cable hooked again. Sorry about that. I was trying to do a nice, smooth cinematic pan for y'all. Cindy just said she's coming here next April. Well, that's a heck of a good plan, Cindy. Well done. All right, so I think you get the idea. And I'll take you to the other side of this tree. And let's go find our wine and cheese that I assume has been very lovingly prepared by French Girl in Seattle Takes France. This will be a little bit dark, but I just want to give you an idea of how you can really become enveloped in these blossoms all the way down to the ground. Isn't that fantastic? Hold on, I want to really show you this full effect. So thanks everybody. I'm going to start my sign off because it always takes me a couple of minutes. I hate to say goodbye. But don't worry, because on this same page, this public Facebook page, in just a few minutes I'm going to sign off here, but I'm going to fire up a second video that's going to be a chat with Vero. So why don't we make our way over to the edge here. I'm going to try to squeeze through here. Pardon. Pardon. Je vais passer par là. Pardon. Petite fille. Merci. Oh, there she is. Look. It's the one and only. Hello. How are you, Vero?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and
Great job. I was watching.
you to help sign off for this Cherry Blossoms tour. Isn't that nice? Something like
Bonjour.
that. Give me some cheek love, by the way.
Mwah. Mwah.
Okay, folks, thanks for watching this. This is Vero from French Girl in Seattle Takes France, and in about 5 minutes, I'm going to come back on this page. We're going to do a public chat. Ooh, look at this spread.
It's simple.
And there's a bottle of wine here.
Oh, you can.
Let's give them the full. Ooh, you make a very good.
Full-bodied red.
Now you
The
were.
way you like it.
You're French, but do you know the name Vanna White? Does that mean anything to you?
It does.
Okay,
the
so you,
lady with the big wheel.
with the big Wheel of Fortune. So you make a very good Vanna White. So anybody. Sorry. Anyway. Okay, folks. Bye. Thanks for this. HD replay is going to be going up soon later on. So that's it. Patreon link if you want to support me, help this project continue and evolve. And I hope you enjoyed all of this action here. And I think that's about it. That's all I want to say. Really cool cafe chat coming up with my favorite Frenchie, after my wife, of course. Sorry, honey. But anyway, tune in about 5 minutes on the same page, and we're going to talk about some fun stuff. And I'm going to drink the crap out of that bottle of wine. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. See ya. Have a great rest of your day.